Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are doing well. Today we're going to talk a little bit about cameras and the settings that correspond with them. A lot of you guys have been asking me, hey TJ, can you talk a little bit more about ISO? Can you talk a little bit more about shutter speed and aperture? So we're going to talk about those things in this video today. Basically, we just want to learn a little bit more about photography, videography, how to get a crisp image, how to get better quality images, and hopefully learning a little bit more about the settings and how to use them can help us get those images that we want to get, as well as just enjoying photography a little bit more. So we're going to be talking about how to do that with a DSLR. Right now I'm holding a Canon 7D. This is a pretty good camera. I had it for a long time, but this will work for any DSLR camera shooting in manual mode. So don't be using automatic mode out there, guys. So when we talk about those three things, shutter speed, ISO, and aperture, we're basically talking about changing the exposure of an image. In photography and videography, you have something called an overexposed image and an underexposed image. And you typically want to make your image right in the middle or evenly exposed. You don't want it too light, you don't want it too dark. You want it like, the porridge, you want it just right. DSLRs and cameras nowadays have light meters that will allow you to adjust and see if your camera is exposed right before you take the image. Some, all you have to do is click the little shutter button and it will give you a dial and show you that it's either overexposed, underexposed, or at the correct exposure. Based on that, you can dial your settings, your shutter speed, your ISO, and your aperture to kind of move that into the correct exposure. Now there is room for artistic view, but that's typically the rule of thumb. You want an even exposed image. Aside from that, I want to give you guys a couple of rule of thumbs on how to kind of operate through those settings. So with the ISO, basically you are adjusting the sensitivity of your sensor in your camera. Basically, each camera has a sensor, which is the most expensive part of the camera aside from your lens. There's a lot of technical aspects that go into ISO, but basically I want to tell you what ISO does. The lower the number, the less exposure, the less light you're letting into the camera. The higher the ISO, the more light you're letting into the camera. You're actually adjusting the sensitivity of your sensor and telling it to be less sensitive or more sensitive to the light that it's seeing. Basically, the lower the number is, the less light it's bringing into the camera. The higher the number is, the more light it's bringing to the camera. Now, a good rule of thumb is to always start with the lowest ISO number you can. So if your camera goes to 200 ISO as the lowest, set it to 200 ISO and then work your way up. The higher you go on your ISO, the more grainy, the more the image will lose some of its quality, and you don't want that. So try to start at the lowest ISO and work your way up. Typically in good lighting situations, I would start at 200, especially outdoor. I would start at 200 or 100 if your camera allows it. So I always set my ISO first, depending on whatever situation I'm in. So if you have a dim situation, you want the ISO to be a little bit higher. But if you have a very nice lit situation, you can keep that down at 200 or 100 or the lowest setting that it can go to. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna stop right there. If you guys have any questions about ISO, let me know in the comments below. If you have any questions about shutter speed, let me know in the comments below. Next time we'll talk about aperture and we'll go a little bit more in depth about aperture. I'm just gonna make this out of a series. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.